like a surgeon.
Did you hear Weird Al is no longer doing any of his Michael Jackson parodies because Michael Jackson's like a dead douchebag now all of a sudden?
Hey, Gaumer.
What?
We're live. Welcome to
Oh,
Comic
gosh.
You number
Talking about Michael
151.
Jackson.
Brought to you by Dwayne's World Comics and Games, 457 East Sullivan Street in Kingsport, Tennessee. They carry comic books, graphic novels, statues, toys, gaming, merchandise, including miniature games, board games, and RPGs. Check them out, Dwayne's World Comics and Games, Kingsport, Tennessee. My name's Boogie Bentley.
And I'm Adam freaking Wade Adams. Hey, Jason.
Sorry. I thought Gaumer was going to go. All right, I'm Jason.
Why can't we hear Jason?
Oh, is he not? Is he talking?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I got you.
Now I hear you.
Okay, sorry.
What
happens? And this is Gaumer.
We are at ComicCast Pod on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, wherever you get social with your media. Also, if you are joining us live on YouTube, be sure to hit the like button and share out the link. Oh man, welcome, Jason. Your first official show.
Yeah, man, glad to be here.
Oh wait.
Hey, thanks.
This is where Adam kisses up to you and then later stabs you in the back.
It's the the cult of personality, CM Jason.
Thank you. Yeah, glad to be here, man. Stoked. Had a great time at the 150 special. Now we're doing it up on 151, man.
I got some good feedback on that, but I did see one complaint about 150. It's that the camera never stopped changing.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Because it was just chaos.
Right. We actually have to have seizure warnings next episode. Next time we do that.
Yeah. Like Stranger Things 3.
Dude.
I just told them to, if it bothered them, just to go to the podcast. Because we never mention it on here, but it is available on most major podcast platforms.
On all of them, I think.
No, iTunes still does not work, man.
No, that's not my fault, though.
Whose fault is it?
Apple Podcast's fault. I can go to iTunes right now and search, what's the name of the show? ComicCast.
Oh my God.
Podcast, iTunes.
You remember Instruments of Destruction awful
I
easy.
know. Don't get me started.
Yeah. What's the name of this show? Instruments of Destruction.
It's there.
Yeah, for some reason it loads to their website, but not to their podcast app.
All right, what? And do you want me to explain? Do you want me to get technical?
Well, they love when we talk inside
It's
baseball.
boring as hell.
No, let's not talk about it.
Okay.
Then. Let's talk about something that wasn't boring as hell. Well, I'm going to talk about it. You guys haven't seen it yet. Spider-Man Far From Home.
I can talk about it. I know all the spoilers.
Oh, man. I really thought you guys know how I am with movies. Every time I see a movie, I come on here and talk about how great it was, no matter what. Mm-hmm. This one, about an hour into it, I was sitting there and I was going, I've got to figure out how I'm going to deliver a terrible review on ComicCast.
Oh,
wow.
It started so slow. Man, but then it Mysterio was great, and that it kind of picked up. There's a turning point with Mysterio, and business kind of picked up from there. Probably one of my favorite villains for one single movie. Obviously, like Thanos, and his story arc's awesome, but Mysterio was great. There's some good Tony moments even after his death, man, and there's just a moment
he died?
With AC/DC that when you see it in the movie, dude, you have to get excited. But I'm a story guy. This was better action than story. But
now, can I ask, was Mysterio good or was Jake Gyllenhaal good?
Probably both.
Both.
Jake Gyllenhaal made the character.
He's such a green boat, man.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I look at it as a character. I have a hard time saying, "Oh, that actor did a great job," because
why?
I don't know. It's hard for me.
You get Jake Gyllenhaal and John Hamm in the same movie, I might have to have a talk with my wife. So you stayed through the post credits too? Were you? I know I'm not going to say what happens, but were you disappointed by what was revealed in the post credits?
No, I kind of got excited about the future of the MCU. I've been kind of down about where they're going to go moving forward. I'm kind of excited about it, but and I'm trying to not spoil it.
So we can't spoil it?
Yeah.
Don't.
I want to see it in like an hour.
Yeah, don't spoil. So you don't know what happens in the post-credit scene?
No, I've stayed away from all.
Okay,
news.
cool.
Yeah.
It excites me about the future, but it brings up a question of a decision they made previously, if that makes sense.
Okay. So And I take it your kids went. What did they think of it? Were being younger and not the same mentality as you? Were they like all about it?
The movie itself or the post-credit scene?
No, the movie itself. Both.
She liked it. I just took my oldest. She liked it, but she likes all of them. She's like me.
Yeah, you were the second person I've heard so far that says they didn't really like it. But everyone else had been rave reviews.
That's what I've heard. Nothing but rave reviews.
I'm telling you, man, the second half is so. When you leave after the second half, it's kind of like, dude, that was fun. That was fun.
That's cool.
I know for a fact the post-credit scenes are all over YouTube. So if you want to go see what those are and don't care about spoilers, I'm sure you can find them on YouTube because I did and I watched them.
Yeah.
Should we shout out the chat at all?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, there's a chat.
Yeah. I want to shout out one of my co-panelists, John's Comics with Kids. He's with me every Wednesday on Comic Core Unlimited.
Sounds creepy.
He's awesome. Oh yeah, dude. He shows. He has a morning show on I think Saturdays or Sundays.
But this is the John. Is this the John that you debated over Heroes in Crisis?
Yeah.
He was way more professional than you. Way more professional.
I mean, he's a teacher. He's a teacher.
Well, it showed.
No doubt.
Oh, he brought the debate skills, huh?
Yeah, he schooled me. Yeah. But yeah, he has a show like every Saturday or Sunday with his kids. His kids read comics, and so
you didn't
steal the show.
You didn't have any cards to hold up to make people laugh.
Nah, I just freestyled it and it showed. And then Real Comic Book Talk. They're awesome, really great guys. We hung out with them in Baltimore Comic Con. They're going to be at the next one, I think, coming up. So excited to see them again, hopefully. Discovery Bay Comics. He's pretty much like the TV guide of YouTube. Like he just has a bunch of like shows and schedules and tells you what they're about and what time they're coming on and what like every day. The dude is just a workworkhorse, man. He's making videos constantly. Yeah. So if you have a YouTube show out there, anyone, hit up JB Discovery Comics, and he'll put you on there and put you in the schedule.
Yeah, Boogie, get busy. Make that network thing happen, man.
I'm too busy trying to get you guys on track. Are you kidding me?
We got our homie Yule Carter in the chat.
Up, Yule?
Yeah.
Yule.
Lots of good people.
Good people.
William Pace.
William Pace.
Yeah,
He's in there ready to put the boots to me. I can feel it.
We do have 10 people in the live chat. Do us a favor. Make sure you hit that like button and share out the link. Yeah.
And hit that little bell and comment and all of it.
So you guys want to talk up Stranger Things season 3?
Turn around.
I've only watched one episode.
Look at what you see.
Yeah, I was like, am I Gaumer? Am I gonna do it?
In her face.
I fast forwarded through that part.
Dude, my kid said that same thing. So you're the second person I heard say that, but the other one is a 13-year-old boy. So I'm not sure what that means.
I thought
apples to oranges, man.
I thought they were just going to do like the first few lines. Same. But when they actually started going into it, I was like, no, I am not.
Music montage. It was fantastic.
The thing is, like, I'm already like on the edge of my seat and I'm like incredibly anxious. And then that happens. I'm like, oh my God, you don't have time for this. I'm so anxious. Keep going and going. I'm like, oh,
it really wonderful suspense, in my opinion. But are we gonna like full on go into spoilers on this?
We can.
Wait, calm down. When did it come out?
Yeah, I guess it's been
the 4th of July, Thursday.
Yeah. Do you want to spoil Spider-Man? Jason's like, no spoilers.
Yeah, it came out Monday, right?
Yeah, I guess we'll wait a week.
Because I have some things. Well, because this isn't really a spoiler. It's in the first episode. So was it ever explained why the Russians are trying to reopen the portal? We know they're doing it, but is it ever
yes, because it opens up, right, with them trying to open a portal.
Right.
The same way that the Hawkins facility was trying to open a portal. But they couldn't, but the Russians couldn't do it in Russia.
Right.
Because location matters. So that's when they moved to Hawkins.
Right.
But why was the facility trying to open the portal? Just to do it, man, because that's what evil scientists do, bro. It
could have been like a Cold War.
I mean, we can understand evil scientists, but I felt like there was more of a military aesthetic.
Well, there you go. Same thing, right?
Yeah, it's like a Cold War thing happening.
But I kind of wish they would have said the reason we want to go to this other dimension or reality is because we want to harvest the technology. We want to build nuclear weapons over there so they can't be detected. I
I'd be more comfortable if they would have said like, "Oh, we know that the Americans are doing that, so we're going to do it too." It could have been like more of a Cold War thing, but it's just kind of random that the Americans that did it in that small town, it was like secrecy and stuff, and then all of a sudden, oh, in Russia they're doing it too. Kind of a weird coincidence,
I mean, I guess it kind of fits with the cheesiness of
exactly. I think you're looking way too deep.
Yeah,
for that.
Of course,
beef.
the Russians are doing bad stuff.
Exactly. It's the 80s. Of course, they were the bad guys for everything in the 80s.
The Terminator dude was freaking hilarious.
Dude, that's my favorite part of it is all the callbacks to 80s pop culture. I mean, when the toys in the first episode are coming to get Dustin. That's Close Encounters of the Third Kind, dude. But when the toys are going off from the aliens. Yeah, Ultra Magnus was sitting there. Thank you.
Yeah, but did he have a motorized thing to make him go?
Yeah, Ultra Magnus, that's a real toy. He actually had the shoulder cannons positioned wrong, but that's just me nitpicking.
I just don't remember Ultra Magnus having that motorized feature to make him. Oh.
At one point, there was that's a different toy. There was the Transformer Ultra Magnus. This was a different toy, that a motorized robot Ultra Magnus.
Oh, gotcha.
But the aliens reference when the Tom Bruce monster is right there on what's her name's. Dude, that's my favorite part of it. All of the callbacks to 1980s pop culture is just wonderful.
Because that was like a callback to Aliens, right? Or Alien.
The one where the monsters interface, yeah, definitely a callback to Aliens.
Speaking of her, I felt like there was a lot of emphasis on of like women empowerment on this.
Oh, but for sure.
With her character, definitely.
But I feel like it was for the sake of that, and it kind of held up the progress of the story because everything they showed before. She was already a gung ho woman.
Sure.
Going for
but now she's in the real world. But now she's in the real world trying to be that same person, and they're not allowing her to do it. And as a matter of fact, it backfires on her. When they go to investigate that old woman and it hits the fan, sure, her boss was possessed by the big bad monster at that point. But everything he said to fire them was 100% correct. Lois Lane would never have done that.
Oh, she would have.
Well, she would have gotten away with it though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So maybe that's what they were trying to say. But I think then I feel like investigating everything worked very well.
Mm-hmm.
Now the stuff with 11 and her growth through the season, I thought was good. I thought that was really good.
Well, she makes a friend, dude.
Yeah.
She has sleepovers. She's like a normal girl now.
Yeah.
And in more ways than one, a spoiler by the end of the series, But yeah, the way they layered that and moved it forward to where, by the end, she sort of regrets not being special anymore. But really, her not being special anymore was her greatest character growth in the whole series so far. Yeah.
And I think there's some underlying kind of stuff about puberty and things like that in that.
Sure.
Yeah. Finding yourself and some independence and
which I can't go into without spoiling stuff. So I won't,
and they took like an LGBT sort of direction with one of the characters, but I was actually expecting Will to have an LGBT moment.
Oh, I was
there. And they kind of did at one point where Mike was saying you don't like girls, but they never really went any further than that. And I mean, maybe they didn't because of the other character they used. They didn't want to eclipse that, but I thought that may have been a good chance for some character growth because Will didn't grow at all in this. Will was the same dude he was at the end. It's almost like everybody grew over the summer, but by the end of it, they were right back where they were, where Will wanted them playing, games and stuff. But I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like Will kind of got the short end of the stick in this, but he was one of the main focuses in the first season. But I think he
was like the pivot point for everybody changing direction to, like the monster's still here. He was 11 in season 1 where she was explaining everything. He's the explainer pretty much in this.
Yeah, he had the Spider-Man tingle.
Peter Tingle.
I don't know. But I feel like his character in this season was the way Mike was in last season. I don't think Mike grew at all last season. He just came off as a whiny little kid.
Yeah, I can't stand Mike.
He
but
was
in
better in this because he was getting some,
Yeah, kind of.
That always
it's only 8 episodes, but if you want to shorten it up, just fast forward through all the kissing, and that'll shave some time off.
I will say, keep the door open 3 inches is the new I love you.
Yeah, 3 inches.
Though.
Yeah, best line was I think I dump your ass.
Yeah, I dump your ass. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Then lick the ice cream. I dump your ass.
Dump your ass. But it was good though. I liked the season better than season 2.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah. A lot of product placement, man. They making buku bucks off this. They had a can of Coke on the screen for at least 5 minutes straight.
Yeah,
I went on this long diatribe about how new Coke is so. I was like, what?
What was that about?
Well, they're making money. They're making money now.
I'm like, where's the Crystal Pepsi?
Hey, dude, Crystal Pepsi was better.
That was like 90s though, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. Go get that season 5.
Yeah. I kind of hope they don't make another season, man. I'm good with them stopping there.
Man, I've heard that they're going at least 5. And if it's making the money it is, they're gonna have something more.
Well,
we can do a spin-off. We'll go back to the 70s, and then we'll do the 90s. We'll have Power Rangers references.
I'm gonna say this as vague as I can, but we know what happens to the one person at the end.
Yeah.
Probably is not what actually happened to them.
Oh no, it's never. No way. There's no way what happened to that person sticks.
Because
that person will be back. That person will be back the first 90 seconds of episode 1 of season 4.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, probably. They probably just got teleported or something.
I'm thinking. Well, it's always something weird with the Upside Down, man.
But was there really? I was expecting some kind of button at the end, and we really didn't get it.
No.
Because I was thinking that I don't think this is going to spoil it, but I was thinking, you remember the letters on Joyce's wall?
Yeah, the alphabet.
I would have thought that she would have kept that up, and that maybe we would have saw some of the letters start lighting up or something.
Oh, sure. And that could still happen.
I was wondering, like, how the hell did she sell her house? It's like, who wants to buy that house? It had like a hole in the wall. All this stuff happened in the town around the house. Like, it probably smells just like cigarettes. She's just chain smoking at the end of the day.
You could probably sell it to an evil corporation. Right. It's like, hey, here's some land.
And Hopper, I think he had his best moments in this season, dude, because he's got his emotional letter. His dealing with Elle is a lot better than it was in season 2. But him opening up to Joyce and feeling, bad about their date, and him saying, I've been trying to make this city safe for you, because I want you to stay. They've got to get there more. They've got to get more on that.
I can hear Jason's dog snoring.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
That's so funny.
For the people watching it,
everybody's a judge. Everybody's critiquing me. The dog snoring. You're like, wrap it up, Gaumer.
Wrap it up.
Yeah. Is it a girl or a boy?
It's a girl. Yeah, she was taking a piss on the rug over there. We have wood floors, so it's fine. But I was like, great. Yeah, I can't reach the door to let her out.
Fine. Just let these lesser beings urinate all over my stuff. That's fine.
What's her name?
UV.
Okay. That's UV the pug.
Yeah, ultraviolet. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, cool.
Like the movie Ultraviolet.
Well, I mean, her grandma was called Violet, and then she passed away. But we got her through the same person. So, her Violet's granddaughter. So Ultraviolet, UV.
So you could put armor on her, and she'll become ultraviolent.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. But no. Oh crap! What were you saying, Gaumer?
We were talking about Stranger Things and Hopper.
Hopper. Don't you? They kind of gave him too much alcoholism. I thought.
Well,
I was like, dude's like drinking constantly. Just
he's got a lot going on, man. I mean, he's obviously suffering from PTSD. I think at one moment he even says that he saw something and he had to, pulled his gun on a dog because he thought it was one of the, demon dogs or whatever in season 2.
I guess
so that worked for me. That worked for me.
He's a long way from coffee and contemplation at this point.
Right.
But it was fun, and I was shocked that it was only 8 episodes. So
it went by so fast, dude.
It really did.
It was great.
So it's a fast watch.
I want more, man. I wanted season 4 as soon as this ended. I'm a big fan of this show.
Yep.
There you
More.
go,
We need more Scoops Ahoy.
Dude, Baskin Robbins is doing a Scoops Ahoy tie-in. You can go there and get all kinds of Scoops Ahoy flavors. I doubt you'll go on any cool adventures, but hey, whatever.
Yeah,
That's
I'm-
on you, okay? Not
I'm
Baskin
glad.
Robbins.
Who was the one little girl they got to go in the
Yeah,
tunnel?
this little
what's his
sister?
name? Sister, yeah.
What's her name? I can't remember.
Her name is Erica.
Erica. Yeah,
Sorry, I know. I should not know that, but
She,
you can't
I
spell
thought-
America without Erica.
You're right. I forgot about that.
she really came off annoying and everything at the beginning, but I feel like she really redeemed herself towards the end.
Oh
For sure.
man, yeah, she's best new character, I would say.
You can't spell America without Erica.
Yeah, best new character, dude.
She's got ice cream for life, bro.
She reeked of the 80s, man. She reeked of the elite 80s attitude that came out.
She was dressed
wonderful.
up like Fred Savage and them in the movie Little Monsters,
Yeah.
where they had all the flashlights strapped to them and stuff.
Yeah.
It was cool. Fun stuff.
All right, Boogie. Whatever.
What did I do, man? Why you
I know you're not saying anything. I want you.
Yeah,
to
we
I
hear
don't
you're
watch the show. It's great.
patiently awaiting.
I don't watch it. I don't know. What do you want me to say?
You should catch up. We're gonna pause.
You can watch it.
Boogie's
We'll
gonna go
watch
watch
it.
3 seasons of Stranger
You
Things.
should make like a condiment and catch up.
I was just waiting to see if any of you listened to the rundown in the pre-show and if you could segue to the next topic. But clearly,
I
What's the
forget.
next
Is it
topic?
Walking Dead?
The DCeased.
They did have some 80s zombie references in Stranger Things, so
Some Zambos. Not a lot of and the monster. I'm not segueing Boogie. The monster,
he's not done.
dude. The monster is so gross. And
Walking Dead
Bruce
number
Tom.
193.
Tom. Yeah.
watch it, like when it goes down the drain
He
and
didn't even know he was muted. He just kept talking.
the bone fragments are left behind.
Oh, that was like The Blob, a famous 1980s horror movie.
Yeah,
they were
The
calling
Blob.
back The Blob.
So I guess it was a pretty good season.
I'm terrible to watch this show with. You ask my wife, because all I'm doing is like, oh, yep, the aliens. Oh, yep, The Blob.
I totally watch it with you. I'd
Yeah.
watch it with you, Gomer.
Nice. Thanks, bro. Romantic.
Tell your
Light
wife.
from candles.
Adam Wade Adams wouldn't complain about my comments.
Exactly. About my
Yeah.
knowledge.
Walking Dead number 193.
Oh, is that me?
Yeah, I didn't read it.
No one read it. Everybody bought it.
I didn't buy
Did
it.
everybody buy it?
No, I heard people like you
My
got
job
it
was
more
pissed.
number 193.
My shop was on fire.
Adam, did you want a copy of it?
No, I don't care about it. I never read any of them, so why do I need the last one?
Same.
And
My
on
shop
top of that, I'm gonna laugh when Kirkman puts out number 194 in 6 months, and that 193 means Jack.
He won't do that. There may be a
Dang,
spinoff.
bro. Why are you
There-
so mad?
I'm
There
not
are-
mad. It's
There
just,
are rumors that he will have a spinoff announcement at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yep.
Okay.
It's not confirmed.
What was cool though? Did you guys see in the previews that he had fake covers drawn up for 194, 195, and 196?
That's the
So
most
cool.
compelling part of this whole thing for me. Robert Kirkman might be the only person in the industry with enough clout to be able to do this. In the same year, he had a surprise launch
Mhm.
of Die, Die, Die #1. Very hard to come by now. Lots of variant covers. Not solicited in the Diamond catalog in previews, but it's still shipped through Diamond, which you're not supposed to be able to do that. And then with this finale, the surprise finale of The Walking Dead, he actually had Diamond solicits for the next 3 issues, as you typically would. And those won't be printed. Those aren't printed. Those aren't even written and drawn. You're not supposed to be allowed to do that. You're not supposed to be able to lie to the comic book, distributor, the comic book distributor, the way he did. Yet he did it for the benefit of his fans. And that's a great thing. But comic shops hated it, man. My comic shop was pissed.
Hey, Gomer.
They only ordered enough for the shelf. They didn't order for everybody else who was going to come in.
I think Kirkman quoted 11 when he says, "I make my own rules."
He does.
Yep.
I mean, and I don't know anybody else in the industry with that kind of power.
Yeah, agreed. That's awesome. Yeah, that
Not
stuff's never been done before, really.
Not even Prince Adam.
That's right.
It was. I mean, it's pretty thick too. It's almost like a trade.
Yeah.
The 193, and it was only $3.99. So I saw it. They had 2 copies left at Dwayne's, and I mean, you guys know I read it. I read Walking Dead in hardcover, but when Adam said there was something big that happened in 192, I said I'm just going to read it, and I wanted a physical copy, but Dwayne didn't have any physical copies of 192, but he did have this, so I grabbed it. $3.99 for trade size. And after knowing what happened, I wanted to read the last issue.
Well, and it's history in a way. It is kind of comic book history. I mean, if you go back through the decade or whatever plus that's been The Walking Dead, it's been the most popular comic that's not Marvel or DC. There's no ploys there except for like issue 100 where he had 1 million variants. It's just a good comic that people are picking up. And yeah, Saga's going away, sooner. It's not here right now, but when it does come back, it'll be gone. I don't know what else Image has got to find something, man. Image Comics needs to find that hook. I
know you guys didn't read it. The story itself was almost a little odd. I thought I didn't know what they would do with it. They flash forward. Carl Grimes is an old man, which I did like that aspect of it, but the setup was just almost kind of goofy. They hadn't seen a walker in over 10 years. They have all these security checkpoints, and it's just a different way of life now. But then Herschel, who is Maggie and Glenn's son, is doing like this traveling show where he takes walkers to different towns so people can see a real life Walking Dead. And so Carl goes. So Carl goes and kills him.
Step right up.
Of course.
The zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he has to go on trial for damaging someone's property. It's like, this is the way you decide to go out. Like, the comic itself is cool where he's kind of going to all these different people, and it's like a final goodbye to these certain characters. But the way he went about it was just weird, man.
Well, it's weird. I guess it's sort of suggesting that the idea of zombies living in this world is so normalized now that it's like a sideshow thing, But,
so do you was the gimmick of everyone's infected and turns to a zombie when they die, was that just in the show or is that also in the books?
Well, see, they didn't touch on it because when they're saying that nobody has seen a walker in 10 years, well, people have obviously died in the last 10 years. So do they just die and they put a bullet in their head because they know they're going to turn? I don't know. It's kind of open-ended as far as that goes. I don't know.
Did we hear what the spinoff is going to be about?
No, that's just rumored right now. Yeah, we don't know anything. San Diego Comic-Con is the rumor. That's what they said.
I don't know that that's a good idea, man. I don't know.
It's not a bad idea. They spun off the show, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's not a good idea." And Fear the Walking Dead's getting good numbers, so I mean,
I didn't like it. I watched the first season and thought it just didn't live up to it.
Did it take a while? Like Gotham took a bit to kind of ramp up. Is Fear the Walking Dead the same? It's taken 1 or 2 seasons to ramp up.
Dude, if you can't grab me in the first season, I ain't coming back.
First episode, there's way too much to watch for me not to just be impressed within the 45 minutes you have for a single 1-hour episode. Sorry.
Yeah, I think The Walking Dead, Walking Dead in general is just such a big franchise that I don't know if you can really let it go. I mean, he could, but I mean, you'd be missing money on the table, but still you can do whatever you want.
And if we know anything about Robert Kirkman, that you don't leave money on the table.
Well, he talked a lot in the back. He wrote a pretty lengthy letter about his decision to walk away and that he had actually wanted to end it even earlier than now and decided to continue on. Yeah. And he was just imagine, man, 193 issues. He's like, it's weird to think that a month is going to go by and I'm not going to sit down to write an issue of The Walking Dead.
Wow. He did the Jerry Seinfeld left while he was on top, stopped it.
Well, depends on who you ask. A lot of people said it's gone downhill the last.
Exactly.
Well, where did it peak? The Whisper War?
It's hard to tell, man.
Some would even say earlier than that. I like the Whisperer War personally. The Whisperer War.
I'm looking forward to reading it. I don't know. I'll read it eventually. Just there's so much to read.
So, dude, that's so hard to do.
I will probably never read it. I'll be honest. I will probably never.
It's so good though, man. It really
I have the first 3 volumes. I went through those and I just kind of fell off.
Now I would pick up a one shot if they did that if it had all of the villains meeting like Negan,
It did peek at the governor, William.
The governor.
Yeah, what? I always hear people talk about the governor. Yeah.
And I'll say that one book, the only one actual book, like book, not comic book, that I've read regarding The Walking Dead was Rise of the Governor, and it's actually pretty good.
Pretty good. It's really good. It makes his character so much better.
Yeah.
Adam, get it right.
Yeah,
it's like the only book I've ever read in my life was pretty decent.
Oh, it's not the only book I've ever read in my life. I read Harry Potter. Thank you very much.
Read all the Magic Eyes, Magic Eye books.
I love
3-dimensional.
You gotta squint.
So you read all the Magic Eye books.
The Magic.
Pull your head back. Look at the reflection.
See a sailboat.
You know, I like to read those books while I'm at the gym.
Wow. Are you also a vegan?
No.
Into CrossFit, are you? Speaking of zombies.
Yeah.
DCeased. Number 3.
Oh, we're getting into it.
DCeased number 3, written by Tom Taylor, penciler Trevor Hairsine, inker Stefano Gaudiano, colorist Rain Barreto, letter Seda Timo Fonte.
All the good ones end in O.
Yeah, dude. Right. I'm having so much fun with DCeased. It's just, all kind of universe zombie story. Yeah, I mean,
good review.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
you can't.
I mean, you can go step by step and spoil everything, but I mean, it's just so much more fun to experience it for yourself.
I think the thing you could say is Superman has a moment with Pa Kent, and that's
the end.
It's so groovy. It's so cool. I love it.
I didn't really want to spoil the ending either, but I mean, did you have any beefs with what's going on? Sorry, I keep stumbling over my words here, but I think it's cool how they're setting up all the rules of how this world works. Yeah. And so slowly, issue by issue, see Aquaman and you see the blood kind of flow through, and one of Mira's friends gets infected. Was it Aqualad? I think Aqualad.
I think it was one of them. I think there's more than one, but it was one of them.
Yeah, Aqualad got infected from the shark blood or the zombie blood. So we know that, just by touching the blood, you can get infected now. So I don't know. There's little rules.
That's messed up. I actually had never thought of that. If the blood gets you infected, then what happens when it's in the water and it can just spread?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's crazy because Aquaman can control fish and stuff, so he's attacking people with all these sharks. It's just pure carnage.
Yeah,
yeah. That 2-page layout that you're talking about was so good, man.
Yeah.
And there's sharks everywhere.
And Mira using her powers to keep the blood at bay was really.
I'm still trying to figure out how the zombies work in certain ways. For instance, when the birds of prey jump down to attack Harley Quinn, they jump down as a team. It was do they have that functionality where they're able to communicate with each other? And it was just kind of weird to see them attack as a team, because most of the time it's been random chaos, each individual person, not as a group. So that's kind of weird. So I don't know if I liked that or not.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It looked like they were going more to present this cool, look here's the zombie birds of prey hanging out.
Yeah.
And it was kind of weird.
But all these jump down at the same time. It's
I'm willing to ignore that because this is so cool.
Exactly. I really hope Tom Taylor just continues this on Injustice. I want this to be I tweeted him and he favorited the comment, but I want this to be the new Injustice. Just keep this going forever. Did they say it was supposed to end at issue 5 or something? Is it supposed to be a limited run?
But there's also a one-shot that he's writing that is going to continue everything, and that's supposed to have the new gods in it and stuff like that.
That was sick,
dude. There's so many people talking about this book and hyping it up. I would almost say they have to keep it going.
They will do this as long as it sells. Injustice could have gone on forever. It was so cool. This is the same way. Tom Taylor just works so well. And I say he works so much better. He doesn't. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is cool. He's writing that over at Marvel.
When he can make his own rules.
Exactly. When he can come up with his own rules.
Elseworlds.
Yeah, when he can take the foundation of DC Comics and then build his own new thing on top of it, it's perfect, dude.
That's why I want more of these stories, man.
Yeah.
How many stories can you just see Batman get killed and Damian Wayne deal with it?
That opening page with Batman, Nightwing, Robin just laying on the floor in front of Alfred. He's my boys. It's oh god.
Yeah. And then the stuff with Superman, in this issue
at the end
talked about. It's man. It's so good, but that's like you said, he doesn't have rules. He can do whatever he wants.
And Superman talks about like detaching himself from who these people used to be.
Oh my God.
Like Perry White,
his coworkers, and Perry.
Dude, it's so cool.
Jeez. I was zombie Clayface. That was cool.
And these are all just tropes. You know, these are all just zombie movie, zombie comic tropes. But seeing them applied to these characters in the way that they work so well, you know, because of the relationships that have already been established, it's just perfect, man. It's really good.
I want to see how it reacts with like Martian Manhunter and the Green Martian, since they can become intangible.
Yeah, well, they did Clayface, and he was just a blobby zombie monster.
Yeah, with like octopus arms, and
Red Tornado, who is basically a robot.
Yeah,
well, how does this disease interact with them?
And it got Cyborg. You know, that was the initial patient zero. So I don't know what to see.
It's kind of a cyber virus, kind of.
It is, yeah. It attacks you through the internet. You know, the anti-life equation twisted to attack you through the internet.
Yeah, it's funny because like all forms of communication are down, and that's how it started anyways. So I was like, well, can they really bring it back? I mean, apparently that's what they're trying to do, is bring back like satellites, and
they need Cyborg, they
need
need
radio and stuff.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's like, well, won't it just like be infected again if you bring it back? And then Lois is like, Superman invited her to go to the farm. It's like, and his son, you guys come with me. And she's like, no, I'm needed here. I'm like, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do, Lois? I'm gonna report on it. What are you gonna print it yourself?
Who? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was like, all right, but I don't know, I think it's just Lois Lane in general. She's been written like that for a while, but
I told you Prince isn't dead. I can still sell papers. Yeah. And has Brainiac been involved in this story yet?
No, I don't think so.
I could totally see him trying to capitalize on this.
And that's the cool part about it. Taylor can take this wherever he wants after this initial story is told. And
you know where this couldn't have happened in Gotham by Gaslight, because there's no technology.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry, that was a tangent.
It was.
It was a short one.
That's what she said.
I guess as we're all awkwardly looking at each other. Star Wars, Age of Resistance, Finn, #1.
Finn, Tom Taylor, again.
Oh gosh, back to back, and this is not going to play out the same.
Ramon, I didn't mind this. Ramon Rosanas, guru effects on the colors with VC's Travis Lanham doing the letters. Thanks, Travis.
Landing it to the ham.
Infestation. I enjoy this quite a bit. Taylor, again, he's a great writer. Rosanas' art was quite passable and worked well for a Star Wars comic. I don't know. Basically,
cute.
Yeah, basically this is just Finn being a stormtrooper for the First Order. It delves into the fact that he's got a conscience and other people don't. I like stories where they take sort of blank character types like stormtroopers and sort of normalize or humanize them the way this issue does, And humanizing them doesn't necessarily mean making them nice. No, they're all a-holes. But Finn's not. Finn's a nice guy. He just sort of goes with the flow. He finds a little helper, saves some animals that I guess were living on Starkiller Base, which is weird. But this was good. It was a Star Trek comic that is not, or Star Wars comic that has nothing to do with anything else that's going on. This is the way I like to read my Star Wars, little bite-sized morsels like this, and this was entertaining. Pack ended with the Vader book. That was cool, but I think Taylor's really going to do a great job with what's going on now.
Yeah, I like that he rescued those little bat creatures, Yeah. It was a little cutesy story. I'm all about rescuing animals.
You guys are so sensitive. So sensitive.
It was. And I mean,
it's not bad. It is what it is. It's not like it could have been terrible, but
it was
fine. It was fine.
It was fine. It was fine.
It did its job.
But after the Greg Pak run, dude, this is worlds better. This is so much better.
Oh man, I just
who's writing that? Who's writing that Snoke one?
I think Taylor's writing the rest of them.
All of them.
Yeah,
I'm curious about that one.
Yeah,
I just wish he would have done more. I wish he would have done more with this. This feels like what happens on that. What's it called? Starkiller. When the cameras aren't rolling for Star Wars, this is what happens, and I don't care. I didn't like the artwork either, man. I'm just gonna keep crapping on it.
I'm gonna keep going.
The only thing I liked about the artwork, I thought the colors were great, but other than that,
effects. Yeah. And I mean, this isn't anything that you're supposed to be like, oh man, best Star Wars comic ever.
That's what we did when Jody Hauser was writing them.
Well, I don't know if it was the best comic ever.
Bullcrap.
But
Go back
they
and
were
listen
better.
to those shows.
They were better.
That's why we started covering them every week, is because of her.
But this is better than what Greg Pak was doing. No, it's not Jody Hauser, but it's Finn. Finn's kind of
that's it. It's just Finn.
It's Finn. But I mean, I like these characters. I like these movies. So
I wish you would listen to the Tony Earl's voice. It was fun. It's fine.
It was fine.
It's not a raving review.
I mean, I'm not raving. That's what I'm saying. But there was nothing inherently wrong with this guy.
Oh man,
it's like, what else are you gonna do with Finn as a stormtrooper? I don't know. That could be because the movie doesn't really explain, too much. It just kind of went over a good conscience,
Yeah.
See, that's why I'm not a comic book writer, because in the 10 seconds that I had to think there, I couldn't come up with a better idea. So it did its job.
Exactly.
It did its job. Did its job.
Tom Taylor's like, oh, God, I got to write a Finn story. Okay, he's just taking out the garbage.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what he's doing. He's just taking out the garbage.
I liked when Kylo Ren came through the hallway. He, has his mop and it's just dripping on his shoulder. And Kylo
that
Ren
was
funny.
Like,
an idiot.
Yeah. What do we do with the mops? Do we hold them up or do we put them down?
That's not a gun.
I mean, I guess there is.
Stand like that.
I guess there is sort of a weird comedy going on that makes the First Order look like a bunch of, I don't know, inadequate a-holes. Yeah, idiots. But they are kind of, Stormtroopers always get a bad rap for being inadequate in their
They're like the foot soldiers, the Foot Clan.
Bad shooters.
Yeah. Which might be why Finn, since he used to be a stormtrooper or whatever, might be why he's the comic relief a lot of the times in the movies.
Yeah.
Wow, I just killed it.
Banjax.
Not Jar
Jar. I'm sorry, I opened my mouth.
Talk about Banjax.
Don't tell me what to do. I'm going to talk
So
about
good.
Banjax. Banjax #2, written by Ryland Grant, art by Fabio
is that
Alves.
waterfall? The Niagara Falls.
Yeah, sorry.
I
was like,
that's my wife washing her hands. Sorry.
Oh,
come on.
I thought it was your dog taking a leak again.
Yeah,
That's good. ComicCast is all about good hygiene. Please.
That's right. Sponsored by Good Hygiene.
Yeah. But art by Fabio Alves and Edson Ferreira, and the letters by HDE, Head PE, as I like to say.
Yeah.
But in this book, we get Laird Mason, aka Banjax, and he's continuing his one-man end-all purge of crime in his city.
Dude, why is William Pace attacking you?
He loves it. It's his favorite thing to do is to attack Adam. We got Serenity loving on him and William hating on him.
Stormtroopers.
It's a good balance, like all things should be.
Oh my gosh. Continue, Adam. Sorry.
It's fine.
He serves his purpose.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Because if you don't have thick skin, then suck it.
Then you have thin skin.
What?
I completely ruined your review. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you should be.
You can't ruin a review for
Banjax is
too good.
Once his once sidekick, now extremely rich businessman, Abel Raines, aka Gyro, he's struggling with his own mental instability. He's got all this pressure. He's going. I think he's having some kind of mental crisis. He's seeing things. A public outcry is forcing him to basically go after Banjax and take him down. Or else, if he doesn't, it'll tarnish his company's image and also compromise his plans to privatize crime fighting. I like this. I'm looking for. This is only 3 issues.
What?
So.
Is it really? That's it?
I think so.
Oh my gosh!
No.
Yeah. So
I think that's why he's pushing it so hard.
It's so good, but I'm this has to have a volume 2 or season 2 or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. It's so good, and I know Ryland Grant could probably push this story further. So
I want just more of the universe, man. I don't even care if it's these characters.
I never would have read it if you guys wouldn't have put it in the inbox. You know, I'm so glad I did. This is like my pick of the week, I think. You know, so I was like, oh, issue 2. I'll just read issue 1. It's like, wow, this is really good. And issue 2, like, couldn't wait to read it. I mean, it's his sidekick, his old sidekick that went corporate. You know, he's sleep deprived. He's seeing stuff. You know, he's losing his mind. And before it was like he punched Banjax out and became the good guy because Banjax is more like a Punisher type, you know, killing people. And, you know, his sidekick wasn't about that. But now that he's like corporatized, you know, has like a little army pretty much going around in different cities he wants to build to kind of take care of crime. And they're killing people nonstop. So it's like, what are you doing, man? You know, so you can see just how things have changed, you know, with him as a character. He's kind of turned more of a villain. So now, you know, Banjax retired previously. Now he's coming back. You know, he got cancer. He's going to die. He's just going full on. He's going to finish his mission and do what he can and go balls to the wall. And it's going to be awesome seeing the fight in the next issue.
Yeah, I am seeing at least issue number 4 solicited. So,
and you may be you may be asking why does the public want him to stop fighting? You know, going after these criminals and fighting, and it's explained that, I guess, his list of criminals to go after is old. So some of these people may have reformed or changed, but he's going after them regardless and taking them down. So even if you cleaned up your ways,
they're both in the wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to, in my opinion, you can change, but you still need to accept the consequences of your actions regardless.
Oh, so you're saying Banjax is right for killing this dude who served his time and did what he was supposed to do?
When you put it like that,
I think,
because that's
you
the
do.
crux.
You do. I can tell. Just say it.
All right. This is the thing, though. I don't know. Did it say what he did?
He was a drug dealer. He's a petty drug dealer.
And he could have gotten off like a light sentence, or it could have been corrupted and he got out early for, I did this, but I'm going to snitch on somebody. So maybe he got off light than what he would have originally got. Because I'm sure if these guys are still in prison, Banjax isn't going to bust into prison and start killing people yet.
There's ways for them to get out after they've served their time, after they've done their penalty to society, you know, serve that penalty, then Banjax is going to kill them.
I need more details. But if it comes down to
more details, no, because the government gets to decide that. If this book is boiling down the vigilante and saying the vigilante is not a good character, it's a bad character, because you're saying both of these characters are terrible human beings, then Banjax is wrong. Gyro or whatever the hell his name is, he's wrong.
Hero,
too.
I guess. Yeah,
I'm saying wrong. Had the person not made a poor choice to begin with, Banjax wouldn't be after them.
But when you make a poor choice, it is society that gets to say what you did wrong and define the penalty for what you did. And after that penalty has been completed, after you've done what society has told you to do to be redeemed, then you're redeemed as far as society is concerned. And when Banjax, that's the way the justice system is set up. It's a system that is set up. But and that's why we have that system, because we got people out they're like, Diddy, I think this guy should be murdered on the street because of some arbitrary thing that I personally think he did. That's why Banjax is such a terrible person. Exactly. Hashtag Banjax was right. And I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying that's what is set up in this book. And that's why Banjax needs to be stopped.
So much circumstantial stuff that
shouldn't matter, because you don't get to decide that, because you are not part of that system.
But I'm part of society. And society, you just said society.
Yes, but you are not part of that system. Like if I go to McDonald's, right? Technically, I am part of the system of McDonald's, but I don't get to decide what they put in their cheeseburgers. That's already been decided.
Yeah, you do. You can say, I want a cheeseburger with no cheese.
That's right, because the system has decided that you can order that. The system has not said that if you don't like what the system has decided, that you can go in there and make your own damn cheeseburger.
let's say someone is a philanthropist or whatever, or whatever it is, has donated so much money and has done all this great stuff for the past 5 years. Someone digs up tweets 10 years ago where they said something that was maybe off color.
Okay.
So should they still be judged by that 10-year ago tweet? Because by today's standards, yes.
Hold on.
Wait, whoa. What
But
you just said? You're ready to kill somebody over.
We're talking about two different systems, okay? I'm talking about the justice system, which is set up by the government and laws. What you're talking about is a societal judgment that isn't as clear-cut. It's not defined like the justice system is.
Okay, well, maybe Banjax meant to kill him 5 years ago. He just didn't get to him.
Well, that's perfectly possible, but just because Banjax did not do his research doesn't mean that he's right.
No, but he's he's decreasing the surplus population according to Ebenezer Scrooge.
Sure.
I'm all about it.
And I mean, I'll talk the same thing about Punisher, because basically he's doing Punisher-like things, even though Batman does those same things without murder. They're still terrible, but I love this book because of the conversations like this that it brings up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's boiling down the superhero trope in a way where it's reflected against society and what society, expects, what society will tolerate. We said it in the first issue. When he murdered the dude back in the 70s, everybody loved it. When he murdered the dude in the 90s on TV, everybody hated it. Mm-hmm. And it was perfect. And it shows how society has changed. I think that has not changed as much as that suggests, but still, especially by this conversation.
Thanks, Jason. ComicCast.
I mean, this book is just incredible, though. Like, I highly recommend it. It's super wordy. There's like a lot to read every issue, but it's like all pure meat and all necessary.
It still reads fast, despite it having so many words, because every word has meaning. There's nothing wasted there.
And I feel like, and with what just the discussion me and Gaumer had, it's kind of like us as people. Even though you have maybe your social justice and you have your actual government, whatever you want to call it, government justice or whatever, as people, you pick and choose. Like the going back 10 years and finding a tweet, I don't believe that's right. Sure. But then you take another circumstance of someone saying, well, this person did this 5 years ago. Maybe they cleaned up, but I feel like they should still be taken out for what they did, regardless of what they've done since. Mm-hmm.
But that's why we have that system written down, and we've all agreed on it, because the other option is what you're describing, and it's completely arbitrary. You know what I mean? It's all dependent on the person's inherent beliefs, thoughts, feelings, and who they are. But justice in the system is blind. You know what I mean? And I think that's what they're getting at here.
Ryland Grant is opening up some good conversations with this book.
This book's for real, man. This is quickly skyrocketing the best freaking new series of the year. Quickly.
Yeah.
What's that?
I hope it goes on forever, man. I'm loving it. So
what's that book? Wrap it up.
I could talk about this book forever. It's great. I could do my own podcast dedicated to this book. It's good.
I think you guys just did.
It's Banjax Cast.
Bandcast, the Bandcast. Whatever, Boogie.
Well, you're next, Boogie.
Man, I liked Banjax number 2 also. Postal Deliverance number 1.
Yay.
I had this great point I was going to make, and you all went down this rabbit hole, so I just listened.
I liked Banjax number 2 also.
Wow. Postal Deliverance number 1, created by Matt Hawkins. Written by Brian Hill, art by Raphael. I don't know what that says. It looks like a typo on my screen. Letters by Troy Pateri.
Dude, his last name looks like it's an organization that you would donate money to.
Inco?
I donated money to Inco this year.
I like that. I like Inco.
Yeah, I didn't know if I typed that wrong.
Yeah. Linda Sedgwick did the cover. She's actually married to Steven Sedgwick, who we've talked about. He's doing that new Harley Quinn book coming out on Black Label.
Oh, not to be confused with Cedric the Entertainer.
That's right.
Not to be confused with Stefan Sajak. We mentioned this briefly before we went live, so this conversation may not be authentic. But as I was reading this, I thought this was terrible to put on the list because I really thought that you guys and maybe you just enjoyed it, but didn't take away as much as I did from all the history of Postal. I was kind of hoping it would be a good jumping on point, but I'm still not sold that it is. I'm glad you guys liked it, but I'm still not sold on it.
Yeah,
I think
it was great to jump onto. Yeah, I had no idea that Postal was even a thing. I've never read Postal or even heard about it. And so like I read the first issue, I was like, that was awesome. And then I was like, oh wait, Deliverance is like the subtitle. There's probably previous stuff. I'm like, oh wow, there is.
Yeah,
it's definitely one I would recommend going back and reading a collected run of it. Cool. But you've got Mark, who is now the mayor of Eden. See, when you go back to that initial series, the original series, his mom was the mayor of Eden. Okay. And there's all this history with Mark and his wife, Maggie, who is now the sheriff of Eden. And then it's like Gaumer said, who the heck is, what is even Eden? What is Eden? Did you Google it, Gaumer?
No, I've actually read some of Postal.
Okay.
So I knew Eden. I knew what it was. I knew the premise.
Yeah, because it's this little town where ex-convicts basically come to live in peace. So there's all these rules that they have to follow and things they have to go through. There's just a lot of baggage and history to the characters, even in this #1 issue. And I guess I was thinking, as a new reader, maybe you could latch onto this story with Eric Kamen, who's the new character they introduced at the very beginning, who is, to use the same word, he's bringing a lot of baggage into this story, and that's just ongoing for Postal. Brian Hill, I mean, if you've read anything he writes, he got these characters that it's like they're walking the line between good and evil, and they all have history, and what are their motives? I don't know what else to say about this book, man.
Is Eden like an established city, or is it like in a neutral territory and like
it's
a
like
post-apocalyptic world or something?
No, it's just off the grid type.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Small little town. I think it's in Oregon.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay.
But Mark, something about Mark too that I was kind of hoping he would touch on is Mark has Asperger's. So some of his responses are very like if I was reading this and didn't know, I'd be like, man, he's a dick. Yeah. But he's not. That's his personality shines, and that's one of the things I talked to Brian Hill when he was on this podcast. I asked him. I said, because you nailed Mark's character. How did you do that? And he said that he set up meetings with people that had Asperger's and talked to them about how they feel when they're interacting. And that's what made this book for me. Characters, man. Characters.
Brian Hill just knows what he's doing. He's just amazing. I almost feel sad talking about it because he himself has said that he's done writing comics after this year. And I'm like, dude, that's just a dumb mistake. That's stupid.
He's been on a hot streak, you know?
Oh, man, he's killing it. If he's kept going on the pace that he's going, I think he's writing for 4 different publishers a month right now. I think he's got an Archie book going on too, for goodness sake. But
yeah, I think he was also talking some Batman White Knight stuff.
Yeah.
So that'd be interesting to see that. Like Sean Gordon Murphy approved. He's like, yeah, like go ahead.
Dude, he could have his own big time event book within the next year if he just put his nose down and just focused on Marvel or DC, you know, if they would even let him do that. I don't know if they would let him, but he could, and it could be a huge deal. But yeah, he wants to do TV and movies like
everyone else. Yeah.
Motion comics.
I really like the art in Postal.
Someone say motion.
Dude, yeah, the art was cool in this too, man. A lot of motion when they were fighting and things like that.
I like the close-up shots.
Yeah, a lot of emotion on the faces. The first few pages when he's, you know, with his wife and kid, just ripping, dude. Oh my gosh. Just through the art, you know. That's
what I'm saying, though. That's what makes this book so. You see this new character, and you see what he's gone through with his wife and kid.
Yeah,
it's regardless of why that happened, it still happened, and now he's dealing with the aftermath. And he shows up in Eden, and he's just like, "Come on, dude, let's go!" Smashes the beer bottle and starts slicing people's throats. And oh man, so good,
so cool,
so good,
super bloody.
Yeah.
The art. I mean, the story. I haven't been reading any. I haven't read any Postal, but the art is what jumped out at me. It was just so. I don't have a better word than to say realistic, kind of.
Yeah.
Just well done.
Agreed.
All I could think of is what would happen if Banjax showed up in Eden.
Oh, jeez, he'd murder everybody.
I want to know what's going to happen with Mark's mom, Laura, that was in Florida with the kid running from the gang members.
Yeah, they kind of touched on that a bit. Very cool. You know, you could tell she's like, all right, I've had enough of this. and she's going to help out, you know, and just her dialogue. Yeah, you're lucky I'm bored, kid. Just so cool, dude.
Because she was like the kingpin. She was the master manipulator. Both of Mark's parents, you know, it's. I want to see what they're going to do with her. Be interesting.
Yeah.
When she moved to Florida.
Are you guys going to keep? Are you guys going to keep reading it?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I will read it. I may go back and try to catch up on Postal.
I like
the
art, but I know.
Oh, we know the answer, Adam. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Moving on.
Space Bandits, number 1.
Written by Mark Millar. How do you guys pronounce it?
I always say Millar.
Me too.
Because he put the A there, so I got to go with it.
He puts the A in Millar.
Mylar.
Artist Matteo Scalera, colors Marcello Maialo, letter Clem Robbins.
Clam, thanks, Clam.
Thanks, Clam. Yeah, Space Bandits. It's like it's funny. It says the 80s don't reach the Midwest until the 90s. So it has like this kind of sci-fi 80s theme going on. It's really fun. There's on a spaceship cruise ship called the Lionel Richie. I thought that was cool. It had his face on the front. Yeah, it's really out there. I mean, it's just pure sci-fi. You know, the story goes with like when this woman, she has kind of like a little crime crew going on for a robbery, and of course they finish the job, they succeed, but then they stab her in the back, and then it goes over to this other woman character, and her and her boyfriend, whatever, kind of have their own scheme going with some, I guess, kind of different costumes and kind of what is it called? I don't know, just a scheme in general. They're both schemers. And then he stabs her in the back, and they both end up in jail. So then now they're like teaming up, and they meet each other in jail at the end. So, I mean, that's the short of it, but there's just so many fun details, and it's a fun ride to go along. So I totally recommend it to everyone. And it's, I don't know, the colors and the art is really fun to look at.
Yeah.
It's a great story. It's a good setup issue. It did everything I think it needed to do to continue on. And I'm excited to see where it goes. I do want to see how they interact with each other. Because we didn't get to see that yet. So
yeah, I agree 100%. Love this. It felt sort of like it was trying to be a space opera, but it was also being sort of like a sci-fi western. I wasn't really sure where it was going, but it didn't matter because it's its own unique thing. I realized by the end of it. These characters, the leads, 2 very powerful, strong female characters who made terrible decisions. And I want to see how Millar gets over that, because I'm not sure you can have your 2 lead protagonists, who are kind of antagonists, be that dumb where they trusted these people. I hope he actually digs into that, where their lack of trust for maybe the male characters who will show up in the book later, sort of get them to become closer and really builds off that. But I can see that a mile. I could see it a mile away that they were both going to get, stabbed in the back by these guys. But I mean, I think Millar was sort of calling, throwing his punches, calling his punches early on. So we knew where it was going, and it still worked. Matteo Scalera's awesome. He's great. He was in he wrote the some science book. I think that somebody was writing some science.
Black Science?
Black Science. Is that the name of the book?
I don't know.
Dianetics?
No, it wasn't L. Ron Hubbard. It was, I think it was Black Science. He's great.
I like the crustacean, that big vessel that they're mining on.
Yeah, the big stupid prison. Yeah,
it's like a big giant lobster that they're just mining goods for. They cure diseases, all kinds. They find all kinds of good stuff on there.
It reminded me a little bit of Nowhere from Marvel Comics and more of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
It was a rock lobster.
It was a rock lobster.
Yeah, I mean, it's a feast for the eyes too, though. There's so many cool things to look at. The art's fantastic. I'm just really looking forward to see how the 2 girls interact with each other, and I'm really hoping it becomes like a revenge tale. Just them hunting down those people that did them wrong, and hopefully they're able to trust each other and they don't betray each other either, because that would be heartbreaking. Yeah. So we'll see. I'm going to read issue 2.
Yeah, me too. I want to see them team up. I want to see them work together to get over on the people who got over on them.
I think I'll check out issue 2 on this. See where it goes. It was, I went into this absolutely not wanting to like it, wanted to be able to say whatever, moving on, and I actually enjoyed it. So we'll see what issue 2 holds, whether it can hold my attention or not.
Nice.
Do you want to go to the X-Minute?
Boogie?
Did
you read this?
No, I didn't read Space Bandits.
Oh man,
I was too busy reading this nice, well-priced, oversized edition of The Walking Dead.
That's by the week.
Oh, did I show this off too? This is going to be my show and tell. Look how cool that is, man.
Whoa,
You have to get a Silver Age.
Oh man, look at
bag
that
and board for
arm. That arm and hand.
You have to get a Silver
awesome.
Age. Oh, that's nice.
Oh man, did someone fart in his helmet?
That's what it is.
I don't like your attitude. X-Men it.
X-Men number 21, Matthew Rosenberg, Salvador LaRocca, Guru Effects again. That's double shout out for him this week. And Joe Caramagna on the letters. We've Always Been part 5. This is still a really good X-Men story from Rosenberg. It just doesn't have enough wind behind it because we know Hickman's coming. And Age of X-Men is kind of bad, but I think
that hasn't ruined it for me though. You know, it's the same thing with Swamp Thing. It's like it canceled, but it's like still so good. Like it doesn't take away for how much I enjoy it.
It has ruined it a bit for me. I hate to say it. I really want Hickman here.
I mean, they've had this plan like over a year ago. They knew this was going to happen. It sucks that they kind of betrayed the readers by saying new reboot and this is it. And then
they knew it didn't matter. They could have done anything. And because Hickman
say that though, you know, they could just like let it play out how it did. You know, the House of X is totally a spatial thing, just trying to space things out to have enough time for that to come in.
The Age of X-Men.
Yeah, and then same thing with like Uncanny. It's like they separated everyone so you can bring back Wolverine and Cyclops. So you have everyone excited about that, and then at the end have everyone together just for Hickman.
It was kind of a kick in the balls that they had the weekly start, knowing what they were doing. They're like, no, we're going to get as many issues as we can before we tell everybody that Hickman's on the way. So, yeah, that was kind of a kick. But in this issue, lots of stuff actually happened, some very cool moments. But basically, Emma Frost, who's been manipulating the X-Men the entire series, has a big plan, which is revealed at the end to be her, with the help of Cerebro and some other mutants, makes the entire world just forget that mutants or the X-Men were ever a thing. That's kind of cool. All right, that's a pretty cool premise to be building forward. I'm not sure how they explain away like news items and books and things that people have written, but whatever. And when you got all these, I mean, because they had a Sinister, Dark Beast, what's his name, who wears the mask all the time? I can't even remember his stupid name.
Major X?
I know Dr. somebody. No, Major X is not a real X-Men.
Wears a mask all the time.
But it's kind of cool. It's working as an X-Men book.
Yeah.
But it's not working as an X-Men book that we know is going to get canceled in 3 months when Jonathan Hickman takes over. So it's good, but not great because of that.
I still really like the art too, man. The art was really good. I love the close-up shots of people's faces, man. So good. Yep. Yeah, coloring's awesome. I'm still enjoying the story a lot. It's really fun.
I'd be talking a lot better about it if I didn't know House of X and Powers of 10 is on the way.
But how about Banshee?
Yeah, well, everyone's dying in this damn book. Everybody's getting murdered.
Banshee?
Dude. Banshee's been dead since X Factor Investigations, and they brought him back just for this, because there was if you remember the Uncanny Avengers, like Sentry and Banshee came back as zombies in that somehow, and he's kind of still was kind of still the same zombie guy. So Banshee, I could take him or leave him, whatever. His daughter's way cooler than him. Siren's way cooler than him, man.
But yeah, Banshee was. Does anybody? I'm gonna no. I'm not moving on.
You got it.
Gomer's like, go ahead, Adam. I'm like, please stop. Yeah. I'm looking at the clock. Stop.
All right. So what about Age of X-Men? You're caught up, Jason, right? You've read it all.
I'm probably halfway through for all the Age of X-Men stuff.
So Age of X-Men is like an alternate universe that was or was not created by the merging of Legion and X-Men.
Correct. Yeah, it's more like a different world that X-Man made up to make like a utopia in his own mind of what a utopia would be, and to have mutant population be the most populous. Everyone's mutants, and them like live in peace. But things are wrong because he doesn't have the perfect. I mean, he has his own perfect idea of what peace is, but it's not really the correct thing. There's no family or like relationships.
Dystopian.
There's no love. It's not. There's things amiss. And because he never had that in his life, so he doesn't know what it is. So that's why he didn't create it like that. So he feels like it's kind of harms people's, the world by having those relationships. I read Next Gen, Extremist, Prisoner X, and Apocalypse and the Extracts. Prisoner X, I think so far was the best one. It has Cable, he's in jail, and just him knowing that everything's like not real, or he has a hint of it, and then all the other prisoners find out too. That they're like, yeah, I have some other memories too, of like the past life, how everyone was. It's just really interesting, and his like mind kind of breaks, and Legion's in it. Legion kind of has everyone just messing with their minds and erases everyone's memory once, because they've escaped like multiple times, or some people have, and then it just gets put back into the same place over and over again. And then with no recollection of it happening, so it's just really interesting story. And the art in it's really cool. Kind of has some like mind breaking things, like standing on a rock with like eyeballs and stuff, and just really trippy. So far that one's the best. Next Gen was cool.
Did you read House of M?
Yeah.
Isn't this just House of M?
Yeah, absolutely. But instead of pretty much.
Okay.
But
I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss this,
Mhm.
but I didn't, because I read House of M and it was better.
So
when Bendis was good.
Who's
laughing at me.
Sorry.
Yes.
Whatever.
Sorry. I guess gonna say we gotta wrap it up soon, because we're going to go see Spider-Man. So I'm sorry. I might have to bounce if you don't mind. I'm sorry.
What time is the movie?
What time is the movie, babe?
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, she thought we were leaving like any minute now, so I apologize.
Oh, that's fine.
Are you leaving any minute now?
I might have to. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
You want to do your random reviews first, or do you want to bounce?
No, I get it. I should probably bounce.
Okay, cool.
I'm sorry, guys. Apologies.
What happens? It's Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, we had made plans. I'm sorry we made them so close to the show time.
Way to go, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. We won't have it again, but
as long as you don't disrespect me, I won't fire you.
All right.
We expect a full report, and be sure to wash your hands.
Yeah, that's right. We'll do.
Hey, let me know what you think of it.
Yeah, for sure. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Later, man.
All right, later.
Later.
Let's get into some random reviews presented by Collar and ElbowBrand.com. Use the promo code ComicCast to save 10% at checkout on all the latest and greatest professional wrestling merchandise. What you want to go first, or me, Gomer?
I mean, I got a lot, dude.
I'll go first.
Go ahead, then. Why do you even ask? Just go.
I want you to go first. It's really bothering me that Jason's face is still on the screen.
I know, it's bothering me too.
I want it to go away.
I want it to go away too.
Here, eject. Can I eject him?
I don't think so.
Are you sure you want to eject?
Let's just roll with it.
I did it. I kicked him out. Okay, CSR's number 1, Jason Aaron, Dennis Hallam, Stephen Green on the artwork. If you guys remember, a few weeks ago, we did an advanced review on this, and I was not sold on it. And I preach all the time about how I don't like digital comics, and Gomer says I'm a snob.
You are.
But this just confirms it, man. I'd already ordered the first issue before you told us we were getting those advanced reviews. Having this book in my hand, the artwork was so much better. And I don't know if it made me focus a little bit more. I like this first issue a lot better than the first time I read it. So I went ahead and ordered the first arc. So we'll see.
Nice.
We'll see if it wins me over. I liked it so much better. Kick-Ass.
I liked it too.
Kick-Ass number 15, Steve Niles, Marcelo Frusen. I don't know how to say that.
Close enough.
I can't. What are you going to do? 15 issues into a book and not spoil it. I just want to say the book is great. I know I say that every time I read it. Great artwork, amazing story, great characters, and they find a way to do a cliffhanger every single issue, and it just works. It doesn't feel forced. Star Wars Target Vader number 1, Robbie Thompson, Mark Lehman, Chris Bolson. This was all right. I'm trying to avoid falling into that trap of reading so many Star Wars comics, and I'm already flirting with it. Because I started with the one-shots, then I went ahead and added starting with issue 68 on the main story because Greg Pak was taking over and Phil Noto. But this Target Vader it's more about a group called the Hidden Hand, and they smuggle weapons. They're selling them to the rebels, and so they end up hiring a group of bounty hunters to kill Vader. And that's it. It's kind of odd because it almost comes off like the rebels are the villains in this story. It's I don't know. It's a different aspect. It's more about the bounty hunters and the tracking of Vader than it is a Star Wars story, which it's kind of cool, but I got to avoid reading too many Star Wars books. That's it.
Yeah, I got a problem with Star Wars books too, because I don't want to start reading the main series, even though Greg Pak and Phil freaking Noto. Anyway, I got Analog number 6, first issue of the new arc. Jerry Dugan and Duggan. David O'Sullivan, good book. Still, going from where it went with the great doxing where, the internet was hacked and everything was put out there. Still moving along with that. Gruesome, brutally violent. I love it. Batman TMNT 3, number 3. James Tynion in the 4th. Kevin Eastman helping out with art, but Freddie Williams the 2nd doing most of it. Man, it's still great. Wonderful crossover. Just, everything you expect from a multiversal incursion between the Batman DC sort of universe and the TMNT universe. Just great.
It really is like amalgam, like the amalgam storyline where people
it's like an
are
amalgam
merged.
Crisis almost.
Yeah, and they're trying to they're just now realizing something. They know something's not right, but they didn't know what, and now they're realizing, oh, we're merged together of these different people, and we really shouldn't exist.
By the end of this issue, we realize that it's not really kind of amalgam, though, because the Joker is the full-on Smiley clan leader, and perhaps Shredder, but there's also an Orokusaki in this, and the Turtles go to recruit him to help them beat Joker and the Laughing Clan or whatever, which is just a weird twist, the way everything is sort of amalgam, but not really. It's cool. I love it. Great book. Next, Fantastic Four, Prodigal Son, number 1, Peter David, Francesco Mana. Finally, a good Fantastic Four book. This introduces a character called Prodigal, who is just a wisecracking but seemingly well-intentioned alien. He's sort of a Superman meets Booster Gold type, I thought. Anyone else read this?
No, I was going to pick it up if Dwayne had it, but he didn't have any copies of it. I don't understand the point of it. What's the point of this one
I'm not sure either. There's going to be more Prodigal Son issues. The next one is Silver Surfer, and that feeds into the story where Prodigal sort of steals the Fantastic Four spaceship, but only makes it halfway into, the solar system. So I guess the Silver Surfer is going to come near him, and they're going to have an interaction. And then I think there's a Guardians of the Galaxy crossover later with this character. I don't know, but I think that's the point, is Peter David just telling a story, and it was good. It was.
It worked in that Hulk story, so why not?
Yeah. I agree. Next, good lead in there. Immortal Hulk number 20, Al Ewing, Joe Bennett. Still one of the best books being published in comics today. Wonderful. Great dialogue in this. Great hearkening back to older stuff while keeping it fresh and jumping forward, to see what's new. Just hitting on all cylinders still after 20 issues. Just great. Punisher number 13 was a bit newsworthy. Matthew Rosenberg, Simon Krujanski. The Thunderbolts are back. Come on. I love Baron Zemo, and I love his Thunderbolts. In this issue especially, but several more, Zemo is just used for humor so well. There's a part in here where he's eating, lifting his mask, talking to Kingpin. Just great stuff. There's also a moment here that's making news where Frank confronts some police officers who are using the Punisher skull logo. And he frowns on that terribly, because I think his quote is, you guys took an oath to uphold a certain thing. I didn't take no damn oath. You know what I mean? So it's completely different.
Well, what's the news?
Well, that made news that the news is that cops should not be using the Punisher logo in real life because Punisher does not represent justice. He represents revenge. And that's not something that police should represent.
So it makes news because
Punisher is calling out police.
Not all
using
police.
That emblem.
Not all police. The police in this story.
Exactly.
Why do we got
police who are using that particular logo?
I read it and I was like, "That's cool, man." He didn't swear an oath, and he does. It is revenge. Yeah. I thought that was a cool part of the story. Never in my mind was police brutality and newsworthy and headlines. Sure. I just don't think that way, man.
Well,
I guess some people did and got offended. So,
well, no, they weren't offended. I'm sure there were some people who were pro police to that extent, where police can, have the Punisher skull logo. I don't think they should, because I know what the Punisher skull logo represents. It represents a dude whose only job is to murder bad guys, and I don't think police have that job. I'm sure that's part of their job. But I don't think
they have an impossible job.
Oh, I totally agree. I'm not taking anything away from police, but I don't think police should make their job that much harder by pulling in things like this that possibly they don't understand. Also, it's a trademark logo, so they're not allowed to use it by law.
Can you imagine if cops just riding around your neighborhood with Punisher shirts on? I mean,
right? Yeah, that's not happening. Exactly, that's not happening. But there are police cars that have been seen with the Punisher logo on it, and
the closest thing we have to that is SWAT.
Exactly.
And I guess
even they are not.
Some other teams that
Yeah.
probably can take a little bit further lethal action than SWAT can, but
Sure.
Sometimes it's still not revenge. It's just highly trained tactical teams.
Exactly. Teams. It's not.
Sometimes I think there should be people, not a lot, but maybe people out there with this that if you see them going somewhere, you know that someone that their ass is grass, basically, and in a way.
We're going back to the Banjax conversation.
Yeah. Is that where you're going? Back to the Banjax conversation?
Not
we should
really.
We should have the Punisher on the streets.
That's what he just said.
Well, this is kind of a people who they are used in that respect. Not so much Punisher, maybe more like a to compare it to another character, Judge Dredd, in a way.
Oh, okay.
But
I am the law.
But if you see them, you know someone's in trouble, real big trouble. They're going down. But another thing is just the visual aspect. If people know they're out there and that they'll come after them, that might curtail some stuff.
Or if anyone sees something bad going on, they could call a 3-digit number and then get the proper authorities there to take care of that.
And decent amount of time, sure.
Well, still, and I mean, I'm not saying that people shouldn't be, protecting themselves, but if you see, all right, if you're just some Joe Schmo from Kokomo walking around the street and you happen to be armed, which I have no problem with, I appreciate people who are armed because most of them are here to help us, which keeps society great. But if you see someone breaking into somebody's house, you are not allowed to go up and shoot them.
No.
Okay, I just want to be clear. I'm just not sure that your argument is being clearly understood.
Yeah, no, and in that aspect, you would call 911.
Sure. But if someone does something to you, you have every right to defend yourself.
Right.
Okay.
No, these people would be the
Punisher doesn't do that. Punisher walks up to people who have already committed crimes that have nothing to do with Punisher's, personal space or property, and he murders them.
He works outside of the law.
Exactly. But I'm saying we should work within the law.
Sure.
Okay.
But those people also made a choice and they reap the consequences. Just like me, if I go around being a jerk, I find that one person and be a jerk to them and they knock me on my ass, take matters into their own hands. Against the law.
Yes.
But I made the choice to do that and I reap the consequences.
But he also made those choices. The person who punched you also made those choices.
Exactly.
But in this issue of Punisher makes choices to break the law, and these cops love him for it. That's the overarching issue with them using the emblem, especially in this issue.
Sell the merch.
Right? And that's another reason Punisher should be pissed. He ain't seeing none of that merch money. I also wanted
copyright fees if I can't.
Right. Right. I also wanted to mention World of Black Hammer, the encyclopedia that dropped this week. The biggest news coming out of this, I think, is Dr. Star is now called Dr. Andromeda. And we're not sure why, but I dug into this a bit, and Jeff Lemire reportedly said, all will be explained. Lots of Black Hammer news coming. The encyclopedia contains elements of future stories as teases.
Dude, did you read Age of Doom this week?
I did not. I actually read more of this than I did probably anything else. It was very wordy because it was, an encyclopedia. But man, this encyclopedia worked unlike any encyclopedia I've ever read in terms of describing characters. And dude, in my day, the G.I. Joe and Transformers catalogs that come out, I lived by those things. You know what I mean? But this one, it seemed like every entry was written by a different person. Like the entry for the, what's the cabin that Dragonfly lives at? The Cabin of Strangeness or whatever the hell it is. The way that entry is written it's just amazing. It's like, don't look, don't read this, turn the page to the next item. It's so well written. Yeah, man, Jeff Lemire is the real deal. I know we say it all the time, but this, even if he can make just an encyclopedia, something meant to be just an informative piece of back matter, this cool to read. Yeah, this dude can do anything. This guy can do anything. I also read Transformers #8. Things finally got good in this issue. So
I don't believe you.
They did. It was action-packed, a lot of cool Megatron stuff going on. It was wonderful. I read actually a lot more, but those are the ones I wanted to talk about.
I want that Black Hammer encyclopedia, but I was afraid I wouldn't get any enjoyment out of it.
Dude, you would love it. It's almost hard to put down. It reads so well. It's very cool, dude.
You're making me want to buy it now.
It's good.
Did you get any type of a review copy, or did you actually buy it?
No, we got the review copy. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I may flip through it on there.
Yeah, it's great. You won't be able to put it down. It reads so fun. It's really cool.
All right, let's get into the Outright Geekery book of the week. OutrightGeekery.com, your one-stop shop for news, reviews, previews, podcasts, everything geek at your fingertips. OutrightGeekery.com.
Her name was Lola. She's a reporter. Lois Lane #1. Greg Rucka, Mike Perkins, Paul Mounts on the colors, and Simon Boland on the letters. Thank you, Cy. I got the Jenny Friesen cover, which looks like Carmen Sandiego, as per Lois Lane. Yeah, the one Adam's popping up right now.
Hold on.
Yeah, swap
that over there. Go ahead. You clearly didn't like my cover.
I did not. I hated the regular cover. I actually got this in my box. And I looked at it, I was like, what is this? And they're like, it's Lois Lane #1. I was like, no, it's not. And I had to walk to the shelf and exchange it. All right, let's just get into this. This is, yes, Lola giving her life, just living her life, doing her reporter thing, being married to Superman. But this issue is really a commentary on the Trump administration in terms of the way the Trump administration deals with the press in certain contexts. I'm going to flip this thing so hard.
Man, what just happened?
Are you ready? The president's press secretary in this issue is obviously an analog for Trump's actual real-life press secretary. They look identical. Okay? There's even a Russia connection. There are comparisons to when the CNN White House correspondent, and the title of this arc, which is Enemy of the State, maybe the whole 12 issues, run is called that. All right. And that's a term Trump himself used to describe CNN and other media outlets. All right. This is not a political opinion. These things actually happened. All right. With that said, I'm quite okay and usually pleased with stories that pull from real life and communicate important current issues and events via fiction. But once you learn or are aware or discover that CNN and DC Comics have the same parent company, it dilutes things a little bit in the same sort of meta way that was meant for this story to be more important. Great art, well-written story, but the story gets just watered down when you make those real-world connections. I'm just going to rate it because my rating is part of my description. This book, to me, is a $2.99. But I might be being unfair. All right, if this was an Image comic book, it would have gotten a perfect score. But because of the connections between DC Comics and CNN, it lost some of that steam that they were trying to build. But I'm not sure that there's another character like Lois Lane that you can use to tell this story. You know what I mean? Because she's the most important and well-known journalist in all of comics. Sorry, Peter Parker. So yeah, I got to give it a $2.99 because of the connections I make between CNN and DC Comics. That this seemed great on the surface, but when you dig in, it seemed like pandering to the boss.
Look at how you read The Punisher, and now look at how you read this.
Same way.
Yeah, and you know what? I didn't read The Punisher that way, and I didn't read this that way. Way. It's just I don't know, man. Maybe it's because I hate politics and I just don't care.
Yeah.
I liked this.
I loved it.
I'm afraid they're going to drag this thing out because it's 12 issues. And I'm afraid it's going to get stale somewhere around the middle. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm going I'm going to maybe order the first 6 issues and see what happens. It's so hilarious, the connections that you made, because this doesn't feel like DC Comics to me. It feels like something different. It felt like a it's almost like Jason was talking about. I wish he was still here. He was talking about with that whole event Leviathan and all that stuff. It's not a superhero book. It's an investigative book. It's a detective book. And that's what I liked about this. Investigative journalism, Serenity says in the chat. I like that aspect of it. And I like that the artwork is even different. It reminded me a lot of Kill or Be Killed. It's kind of it's dark and gritty. I like it. I love the fact that Lois Lane has her own book. I just don't know that it's going to work for 12 issues. I want it to. I do.
I think Greg Rucka can pull it off. I've read him for a long time. He doesn't disappoint usually. So he certainly has a plan. And hopefully his plan isn't just pulling real world politics and news into each issue. But if it is that, he needs to read who his checks are from. All right, because the person who wrote him this check is the same dude who owns CNN, and it makes it feel backhanded. You know what I mean? It makes him feel like he's pandering to the boss. Yeah. And that really upset me, dude, because I loved every other aspect of this except that one.
But is it pandering to the boss, or is it just how Greg Rucka feels?
Exactly. It's impossible to tell, but I'm sorry. I know. Dude, the very last page of this, the back cover, just before the back cover, is an ad for a CNN documentary. And I'm going to watch the hell out of that documentary, by the way. It looks awesome.
This is DCNN.
It is. They're owned by the same company. Now, I'm just saying, okay, if Rucka's going to write something that craps on CNN, is he going to be allowed to write that? No, I bet the editors are working hard to make sure that the parent company isn't upset in that context.
There's probably not a whole lot of comic book writers that don't like CNN. If you're going to bring politics into it.
No, I agree. I'm with you there.
I mean, the comic book community is just a left-leaning business.
Is. I think most of entertainment is a left-leaning sort of thing. Yeah. But I'm not sure, man. I wanted to give this a perfect score, but I just cannot get over.
It's so funny because
the meta part of it
didn't bother me at all. But I didn't put all that together like you did either. So,
well, I'm not sure how it couldn't bother you, because the main crux of this is a commentary on the Trump administration. I don't think you can miss that.
Yeah.
It's called Enemy of the State, and it's about a reporter, a journalist. So with them talking smack, and I'm sorry, Lois Lane is a sit-in for the real-life CNN White House correspondent that Trump kicked out. The press secretaries are the same freaking people, dude. It's the same person.
You know what it was? I was too busy looking at those pictures of Lois and Superman hooking up.
That was hot.
That I just forgot about all that.
Super hot. Did that not remind you a little bit about Jessica Jones? Did this not remind you a little bit of a Jessica Jones comic?
Oh, yeah. I can see that. But I was thinking back to, I don't remember who it was that had Lois half naked in their comic. Was it Bendis?
I think, no, it was Tom King in Heroes in Crisis.
There you go.
When she's standing in the doorway just wearing the Superman shirt, and she said something that's could be related to both Doing It and Heroes in Crisis, which was weird.
That's what I was thinking about.
That was that Playboy DC special.
Dude, I love that page though, man. That's hot. Mine's all sticky now and gross.
Well, this got uncomfortable.
2 copies.
All that said, my rating's $2.99 also.
Be sure to
put why? Why is it not a perfect rating? Because you're afraid that Rucka's not going to be able to carry through? Or was this issue perfect?
To give a book a $3.99 for me, this wasn't perfect. Did I enjoy it? Yeah, I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it. But for me to give a $3.99, I have to, when I put it down, probably message you guys immediately.
Right.
This book was great. You know what I mean?
Sure. I had problems reviewing this, dude. I was like, do I want to go this direction? And then I have to think, no, Rucka obviously wants the reader to go in this direction. So if I have to go in that direction, I'm going all the way. And Rucka, the dude writing your checks, works for CNN, or at least their parent company. So, of course, you're going to crap on the people who are crapping on CNN. It's just, and maybe that's not true. Maybe that's not even the case. But it sure as hell felt that way, dude. And I wanted this to be a perfect review. I wanted it to be perfect when I was done with it. But I was like, man, I can't.
But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Whether you, I'm gonna say it, whether you love Comicsgate or hate Comicsgate, when you listen to Ethan Van Sciver's story and the pressure he had at DC because he was a Trump supporter at the time, it's real life, man. It's real life.
Cena Grace post on Instagram where Cena Grace, who was an Iceman writer. Even if you're on the Comics Pro side and you wanted the diversity push at Marvel Comics to be legit and honest and work, Cena Grace came right out and said, nope, it wasn't any of those things for the most part, you know? And yeah, you have to take that as it is. So I'm taking this as it is. I didn't want to, but damn it, whatever.
That's what we bring you here on ComicCast, the truth.
Yeah, I'm speaking the truth. As much as I don't think that that journalism and reporters are the enemy of the state, I do think there's fake news out there. And I think it's easy to figure out which is which and which is not. But for Greg Rucka to bring that real world aspect into a comic book, I didn't do that. You know what I mean? I, the reader, didn't bring the real world aspect in there. The writer did. So if I have to critique this book based on what the writer wanted me as the reader to think, I've got to do it all the way, and I can't half-ass it. It would have been like that Mark Waid book. If I wanted to half-ass that book, I could have said, oh, yeah, he's right. These kids, these little kid superheroes in high school, they should be giving all of their teachers, you know, diarrhea. You know? But if I'm being real, no, those aren't heroes, you know? So whatever. It is what it is. I kind of wish we didn't review this book as good as it was, because it brought up all this.
I do, man. I think you nailed it. I think.
Thanks. I appreciate it, Bug. I appreciate it.
Adam,
is it my turn?
Serenity is becoming my #1 fan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Serenity is always here. That's what's awesome.
Just great. I love
and interactive.
That.
Interactive.
Yes.
Nope.
Yes.
Not lurking.
Thank you, Gomer, because I really did not care to pick up issue 2, and after listening to you, I really don't care to pick up issue 2, so I can take this off of my interest list. The point I liked it most in this book was when the question showed up.
Yeah, it was a weird question.
And if you gave me an entire book of that question, I would be on board.
Yeah. When did Lois get the clout to be able to command the question to do anything? Is that the Leviathan sort of tie-in?
I have no idea.
I'm not sure what's going on.
I like the question, but I hope Lois the question doesn't turn out to be Lois. I don't know. That'll kill it. But yeah, I mean, I guess it was a good. I mean, the art was good. I guess it did what it's supposed to. I'm just not interested. So $2.99.
New comic book day.
You rated it? I'm sorry, but go ahead.
Yeah, July 10th, 2019.
Jason did rate it. We'll say he rated it $2.99 too.
We're just gonna blow through our picks for the Outright Geekery Book of the Week poll. Jason picked, where'd it go? The Black Hammer Justice League #1 crossover, which we talked about a little bit when we did the advanced review of it, but we'll be able to get a little bit more in depth with it.
I think that's gonna win. I think that's gonna win.
Yeah, I think so too. My pick, Unearthed #1 series premiere. When a flesh-warping disease ravages a remote village in Mexico, a scientific task force travels to the inhospitable area to investigate the contamination. It's freaking Cullen Bunn. It's going to be cool. It's going to be horror. It's going to be dark. It's going to be awesome.
Cool.
Cullen Bunn, man, seems down on himself about his comics lately.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. I get his newsletter, and he talks himself up in that newsletter, but that's more of a promotional piece. But yeah, on Twitter, he's kind of, I don't know. He should stay off social media, I think, for a while.
Yeah.
Because his stuff is good. I mean, it's hit or miss for me often, but when it hits hard, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to go?
Whoever wants to talk.
There's a lot coming out next week. If I could just mention Murder Falcon by Daniel Warren Johnson. It's collected next week. It's a wonderful book if you like heavy metal. Watch Dogs #1 is on Titan Comics. It's based on the video game. I'm anxious to check that out. We've talked about it here before. Second Coming from Mark Russell, Richard Pace. We'll definitely be talking about that, but it's not making the poll. There's a Bitter Root special. David F. Walker is writing this.
Why you got to be a dick, man? Let it go.
Oh, am I being?
No, not you. Not you.
Oh, good. Because I am really good at it too.
I don't want to talk about it, but I'm going to keep talking about it. Shut up and let it go.
There's a bit of Root special coming out. David F. Walker's racially charged fantasy supernatural comic. It's been great. But my pick is Reaver #1, Justin Jordan, Rebecca Isaacs, Alex Guimarães on the art. Becky Cloonan's got a dope cover. This is another series premiere. The continent of Madaris once promised a new start for settlers, but 200 years after its discovery, the war rages on. Deep within its savage and untamed land, the darkness builds. That must be stopped at all costs. I don't know. It's a weird fantasy book. We'll see. Totally new. Have no idea what this book is about at all. So Reaver #1 is not going to win the poll. That's on you, Adam.
Well, I figured Boogie, I'm replying. All right, whatever. I'll go.
What are you talking about?
I'm replying to Serenity, but never mind. I'm picking Giant Size Ecstatics #1, Peter Milligan, Michael Allred. If I enjoyed when X-Force took the wild turn, and Michael Allred took over and flipped it on its head. And they turned to Ecstatics, and now we got Ecstatics, so that's why I'm picking.
It should be weird.
They're always weird.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready to see it.
I mean, when you come up with a character like Dupe,
right?
So
how about Dupe making it into just regular 616?
Yeah,
so popular?
I mean, he was essentially like Slimer. So
right.
So that's what I'm picking.
Hit up Twitter at ComicCast Pod. The poll's up now, so you can go and vote for what you want to be the Outright Geekery Book of the Week.
It's a good week for comics this week, man. A lot of good
stuff. I'm going to spend so much money. Event Leviathan #2, and then you got the $42 Spider-Man book.
Oh my gosh. It's just issue 25. I don't get it.
So
Why
stupid.
is it $8?
So stupid. It makes me want to drop Spider-Man is what it makes me want to do.
You know, with so many good Spider-Man books on the shelves, I agree with you. It makes me want to drop that book too. Amazing Spider-Man. Not that Nick Spencer hasn't been killing it. Ryan Otley, come on. But, man, I'm good with you being good. I'm not okay with you acting like you're good, okay? Have some humility there.
Yeah, you get this Walking Dead issue for $4. And it's
huge.
Huge.
You had to put that in a Silver Age bag, didn't you? It didn't fit in the
normal.
It
fit. It fit.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
He's like, I stuffed it in there.
Made it fit.
Made it fit.
And on that note, that's going to wrap it up for ComicCast issue 151. We'll be back next week, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time.